Over the past 2 years, a tall, slender goalkeeper with gloves of steel has quietly been making a name for himself with Valencia and the Georgian national team. Giorgi Mamardashvili has played a crucial role in securing Valencia's place in La Liga's top 10 twice and once helped them narrowly avoid relegation during his 3 years at the club. Now, as he shines on the big stage with Georgia, one question is on everyone's lips. Who is Giorgi Mamardashvili? Starting his career in the Erovnuli Liga, Georgia's top-flight division in 2018, he made his move to Spain when Valencia got him on loan in July 2021 from Dinamo Tbilisi. Initially assigned to the reserve squad because the first team already had the likes of Jasper Cillessen and Jaume Dominic, Mamardashvili spent the pre-season with the first team and impressed his teammates and the coaches. His performances convinced manager Jose Bordalas to give him his official Valencia debut as early as the first match of the league against Getafe, despite being not in first-team dynamics when he was signed. Mamardashvili continued to deliver strong goalkeeping performances whenever given the opportunity. Impressed by the standard of his goalkeeping, Valencia made his signing permanent just 6 months into his loan spell for under 1 million euros, a low-risk investment for a promising young goalkeeper. In that debut season, Mamardashvili participated in 18 La Liga matches for Valencia, keeping 8 clean sheets and achieving an impressive streak of 560 minutes without conceding a goal. He was also named twice in the La Liga Team of the Week that season, although it must be noted that the start of the season was quite challenging for him, where he found himself in a difficult spell after the first 6 games. He struggled against Real Madrid and Sevilla and lost his place to Cillessen. Mamardashvili eventually regained his spot in February 2022 following another Cillessen injury. From that point, Mamardashvili excelled, keeping 6 clean sheets in his next 12 matches and conceding just 13 goals. His streak of not conceding was the best by a Valencia goalkeeper in a decade, only 109 minutes short of Santiago Canizares' club record set in 2003-2004. By the end of the 21-22 season, Mamardashvili had firmly established himself as Valencia's first-choice goalkeeper. In his second season, he played all 38 league games, becoming an undisputed first-choice goalkeeper. Despite Valencia's turbulent season and relegation threats, Mamardashvili's shot-stopping ability shone through. He kept 9 clean sheets, was selected 3 times in the La Liga Team of the Week, and was named Valencia's best player of the 22-23 season. It's safe to say that he was very crucial in preventing Valencia from going down, as Valencia had the least goals conceded in that season's bottom half of the table. In his third season, Mamardashvili helped Valencia return to form, finishing the 23-24 season in 9th place. He kept 13 clean sheets and saved the most penalties in the league that season, and he was also first in goals prevented in the league with 9.3 goals prevented. He was 4th in the list of goalkeepers with the most clean sheets and made 3 saves per game, totaling 208 saves in the season. Mamardashvili also made history by breaking Valencia's record for most consecutive La Liga appearances as a starting goalkeeper, playing 69 league matches in a row before the streak ended. At Euro 2024, the world truly noticed his brilliance. He was crucial for Georgia to even qualify for their first ever major tournament. In the playoff final in March 2024 between Greece and Georgia, a penalty shootout decided who made it to the Euros. Mamardashvili was a critical factor in this game, saving the first spot kick from Greek forward Anastasios Bakasetas, with Georgia winning the shootout 4-2. In the Euros group stage, despite starting the campaign with a 3-1 loss to Turkey, he made an incredible 11 saves against Czechia in the next match, securing a 1-1 draw. His 11 saves prevented a total of 2.26 expected goals, and Mamardashvili was named the player of the match. Then he pulled off an incredible upset by keeping a clean sheet against Portugal, leading to a 2-0 victory. His 21 saves in the group stages equal the most by a goalkeeper in European Championship history, and were 7 more than any other goalkeeper at the current tournament, helping Georgia qualify for the round of 16. Despite going out to tournament favourite Spain in the round of 16, Mamardashvili put up an immense fight against his familiar players he faces often in La Liga. He made a staggering 10 saves in a match where his team lost 4-1. And now, with the transfer window open, Mamardashvili has been the talk of the town. Clubs were already interested in signing him before Euro 2024 based on his impressive La Liga season, but his performances at the tournament have now skyrocketed his value. A potential transfer is now expected to cost around 35 to 50 million euros or perhaps even more. News has come from England that Chelsea, Newcastle and even Liverpool are keen to bring him to the Premier League. Staying back in Germany after Euro 2024 is also an option, as Bayern Munich is reportedly interested in making him the long-term successor to an aging Manuel Neuer. However, Mamardashvili has made it clear that he won't take the role of an understudy or a bench player, which is fair given his recent displays. He deserves a number 1 spot at whichever club he joins. Though I would wish he remains in La Liga. Maybe Atletico Madrid could use his services, especially given how out of form Jan Oblak looked last season, or perhaps Barcelona if they want to move on from Ter Stegen. Anyways, in the ever-evolving world of football, few stories hit as hard like that of Giorgi Mamardashvili. From his humble beginnings in the Erovnuli Liga to his heroics on the grand stage of Euro 2024, Mamardashvili has proven himself to be a formidable goalkeeper in Europe. As transfer speculation swirls and top clubs vie for his signature, one thing is certain: Mamardashvili's stocks are on the rise. Whether he remains in La Liga, moves to the Premier League, or finds a new home somewhere else, his future looks incredibly bright. For now, all eyes are on this Georgian sensation, eagerly awaiting the next chapter in his remarkable journey. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, comment and subscribe for more football stories like these. I will see you on the next one. Hasta luego.